episode, we have Brian Templeton of the Delta Generators. He's the lead vocalist for them, and they have a brand new album out called On and On. And boy, is it a doozy. You know how we love the blues here at Boomerocity. And I love turning you guys on to bands that really serve up the blues in a way we like to hear them. And that is the case with the Delta Generators. They're a New England band, believe it or not. And they do a phenomenal job singing and playing the blues. And this is not their first rodeo, meaning this is not their first album. This is, I forget how many. They put out a lot, and they got a great live album I encourage you to check out as well. But On and On is their new one, so I get to talk to Brian about the new album, what went into making it, and his view of the music all in general, especially the blues. While you're listening to this, if you wouldn't mind, please go ahead and hit like, and if you're not already a subscriber, it won't cost you anything. Just hit subscribe, but it sure helps us out a lot when you do it, so please do that, all right? And share it with your friends. So without any further ado, here's my first of what I hope are many more interviews to come with Brian Templeton of the Delta Generators. Until next time, this is Randy Patterson with Boomerocity. Take care.
Hello, Brian.
Hey, Randy. Hi, it's Randy, right?
Yeah.
Nice background there.
I thought you might like that. So. Where are you clicking in from?
I'm in southern New Hampshire, near Manchester.
Oh, okay. All right. So how does the blues reach a guy up in New Hampshire?
I just heard it live, and it changed my life, and I started chasing it. That was way back in the early 80s.
Wow.
And I was born and raised in Boston. I've lived up here now for the last about 20 years.
Oh, okay. All right. I used to be in high tech, and the company I worked for, a telecom company, had some labs in Billerica. So I used to have to go up there every once in a while on business, and I always loved driving up. If I had time, I'd drive up to Portsmouth. And there's a great little seafood place right there on, I think it's on a harbor or something, some kind of fishing docking area there. This building was a couple hundred years old, and it was called the Ore House. And I don't know if it's still there or not. I haven't been there in years, but great place to get some great seafood, man. I loved it.
Yeah.
Very good. But, well, listen, I'm excited to be talking to you about this new album and the history of the band and such. But before we doing a little research, I understand you got another business that you do. Is it? And so I'll introduce it to viewers by saying, did you really get into the blues for the chicks?
Yes, I
What
did.
supports the chicken operation? Is it the music, or does the chicken operation finance your music for you?
Well, to be honest with you, my wife has a real job, so that's what really supports us. But
All right.
farming, we have a farm. We do not just chickens. We do pasture-raised organic pork as well, and eggs, maple syrup, and stuff like that. And we rent chickens out to people.
Really? How does that work?
It's called Rent the Chicken, and it's we have these little mini coops. They look like barns with wheels in the back, which you can move around your property, and people rent it with the birds. And I take the coop, the birds, enough feed for the season from, like, say, May to October, and I deliver it to your house, and I come back and pick it up. It's for people who want the chicken experience, but they don't really want to deal with wintering them, or a lot of our customers try it out, and just in case they want to see, and then they buy their own coop and keep the chickens. So
nice, very cool. I always love seeing how people do businesses. My degrees are in business and finance, actually, both of my degrees, and to me, that's my porn. I love hearing how people run their businesses and such, and how they make it, how they started it, and that kind of thing. So that when I was doing my research, I saw that and I thought, well, how fascinating, especially for up in that neck of the woods. I'm here in the Smoky Mountains. You'd expect that kind of stuff around here. But, but up there, I wasn't really, I thought, well, that's interesting. But so tell me about this new album. I love the sound on it, but correct me if I'm wrong, but it's been a while since you guys had come out with an album, hasn't it?
Not a long while. No, we put one out. Gosh, I'm so bad with the dates, but I want to say 2 years ago we put one out. It was the thing with that record was it was piecemeal. We recorded most of it, during COVID, so we kept having to kind of go back piecemeal, and it took a while for it to get done. So we ended up releasing it as 2 EPs.
Yeah,
and then also combined it and as a full length record. But I want to say 2 years ago or so.
2 years. Yeah. I guess I was thinking it was a little bit longer than that. Love the live album you guys put out. That was super. Love it.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that was that. Just to me, well, I want to hear you say what you think on it. Do you feel that fans? What do fans get from a live Delta Generators performance versus a recorded one out of the studio? What do they get on one that they don't get on the other?
Well, they get much more spirit, when on the live show, and I've always prided myself in wanting to make a connection with my audience, and whether it's with just talking to them, obviously playing for them, but also getting them to be involved, getting them to dance, sing along. I'm really big on the spirit. It's like we give them our spirit, they give us theirs back, and it goes back and forth, and there's really no substitute for that. I mean, this is why music was first, long before recordings. This was why music was invented.
Yeah. Why blues for me? I mean, I like to get people's opinions that are performing it, but it seems like that the blues has been the staying power for it now. I mean, always, over the history of it, it's, it take the, up and down in popularity and all that, go more rock versus the old, roots end of it and such. But as an overall profitable genre for record labels and artists alike, it seems to be holding pretty good, pretty steady. And that market, from my perspective at least, seems like it's both solid and growing. Are you seeing that? And if so, why do you think that is, that blues is really sticking this time?
I'm not sure. I think from the inside, it's hard for me to tell, but I think that there's a solid audience for it, but I'm hoping that's going to last, because the majority of the audience, are our age, and I don't see a lot of college age people at my shows. So I'm hoping that it's going to sustain itself. Maybe, some sort of, revival or something, where the younger generations really start to get into it, because I know that when I've done live shows and there are younger people there, they love it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a matter of them finding it and listening to it on a regular basis compared to the musics that they like.
Yeah. Well, I kind of hope. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I have a lot of kids, ranging from mid-30s down to 19, and none of them listen to blues. Except for when I force them to listen to it, when they hear us play. But other than that, they have their own things, their new musics, and it's just a different thing. They can have whatever they want. They don't go out and buy records, like we used to. You want to go find the record, you want to look at the record, and look at the
It's an
jacket
event.
and all that stuff. You know,
Yeah.
and it's great that vinyl's coming back, but for the most part, that's not how these generations buy their music. You know.
Yeah, I agree. Well, you can't see because I have this virtual background up, but I have album covers all around my office, you know, running the ceiling line here, that autographed by different ones, blues, rock, all that. I've got everything from Johnny Winter and John Mayall to, uh, you know, Dave Mason and others. I love it all, you know. But I do think that I think you can take some encouragement in knowing that from my perspective. I mean, from here in East Tennessee and all that, I go to quite a few blues shows, and I do think there is a slow growth in that younger age market, um, to start taking a keen interest. I mean, you're seeing it in some of the artists coming up, but even younger than that, I do hope, especially with Americana as a general overarching umbrella that some people say blues belongs under, that's certainly hitting the college campuses. So hopefully that bleed over will hit blues. And, you know, I know when I go to a blues show, there seems to be a pretty good wide range of ages. Granted, most of them around our ages, but there's youth in there too, and I'm hoping that they take the mantle.
Yeah, I am too. I hope so. So too.
How is this album different in recording than all the others that you've worked on?
Well, this record here is recorded live.
Mm-hmm.
Our last record, for instance, we were really interested in delving into the recording process. Some of the songs had overdubbed guitars. I love to sing background vocals, so there was quite a bit of songs that had background vocals overdubbed. You know,
Mm-hmm.
this record is not like that. There's no overdubbed background vocals. There's no overdubbed guitar. It's straight live. We recorded it straight live. And the other thing is that the material on this record, we made a concerted effort to go into rehearsal space and write the 12 songs on this record. And I ultimately wrote the lyrics for all 12 in pretty much over a period of about a month and a half. We just said, we're going to go in as much as possible. Whatever comes up, you know, if it sounds good, we're going to fashion it into a full form song. And I'll write the lyrics, and then we'll go in, and it took us 2 days to record it.
Wow.
So, yeah, the thing is the technology is just continues to go, and now AI, you know. So we really wanted to go in the opposite direction.
Yeah. No, I hear you. That's a lot of people like going back in and recording to the old tape machines too. You know, I think Joe Walsh's last solo album, he even titled it Analog Man. So
Really?
yeah, that was a few years ago, but that was, you know, there's just something about that warmth of the tape, you know, that people love. But were there any surprises putting this album together?
Surprises. Well, I think some of the songs, the way they came out, were a little bit of a surprise. I mean, there's songs on there like Baby Bomb and Drone and you know, Deep State of Mind that are really, I mean, it's rock, you know. It's
Mm-hmm.
pretty heavy rock, you know, and Deep State of Mind almost has a kind of a punkish feel to it. But so I think that's a little bit of a surprise. But I think overall, you know, this will be 10 years with me, with the guys. I listened to their music before. It's still the same, you know, based in blues and roots styles and just trying to hit it hard. So, you know, I'm not real surprised at most of it, but I love it all. I'm really, really proud with the way it came out.
You should be. It's a very good album. Everything, I mean, I've listened to it a few times, and I love how it's come across. Where'd you guys record at?
We recorded at Power Station New England.
Ah, okay.
Which is, yeah, if you remember the old power station in New York, yeah, they moved
Yeah.
it and no, I don't know if they moved it, but they made kind of a replica of it with the dome ceiling and everything. It was really a great experience.
Now, does Tony Bon Jovi still does he own that one, or does he no longer have any interest in that? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know. Charlie was really our guitar player. Charlie was really psyched to get in there. It was his idea, and but I don't know. I'm pretty. I think it's the same owners.
Oh, okay. Tony has a app. I haven't listened to it in a long time, but it would take sound like, let's say you took an you were listening to something on your iPhone, you download this app, and it converts it in real time, and you can convert all. I mean, it could almost make a something that might sound otherwise like AM radio to be a full blown, you know, super stereo type of sound. And at the time, you could tweak it to tell it which kind of, you know, angles you wanted it to come from and all that other stuff. It is a phenomenal app. And now, back then you bought it. Now I think you subscribe to it. They put it in some high-end cars and things like that. But that Tony Bon Jovi, man, he just, you know, he's quite the brain, you know. And it showed up in that studio that you guys recorded in too, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was a great studio.
What song on this album would you point to fans or people just discovering you for the first time as the calling card for the rest of the record?
Well, I'd say I Got You, which is the single that we just released. It's the 1st single, and it's the first song on the record. It's real steeped in blues, and it's got pretty heavy lyrical content. And but we've played it live now a few times, and the people that have heard the single so far really, really like it. So yeah, I would say start right there.
Cool. Well, blues has always been about the truth, usually hard truth, but truth. And you say you write the lyrics for the songs and such. What truths do you find yourself writing about today in Delta Generator songs?
Well, so many, I borrow from my own experiences, but, I mean, to take a song like, say, Deep State of Mind, for instance, which is a song kind of about the whole idea that there's a kind of a deep state puppet, people behind the scenes that are kind of really running things, that type of a thing. So with everything that's been going on in this world, that's where I got that from, that the truth of that, which is, this is a real thing, so to speak. And some of my stuff, like for instance, there's a song on there called Poker Face, which is really just kind of a fiction song for me. I started off writing the lyrics, I wanted to do just a little bit of, lines that were short, and it ended up being a song about a hitman who loves his job, But there's nothing really true about that song, it's just a fictional character. So I like to jump around, with the different stuff. With I Got You, there's a song the tagline we're using right now is everybody's got their demons, So that's certainly truth, But, I never really set out to really write about anything in particular. We would do these things and get the forms done, and I would just drive around with them with no lyrics, and something might pop in and then just flush it out. I don't really know what it's going to be. Even sometimes when I get the first few lines, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
And that's the fun of it.
So basically the music drives the lyrics instead of the other way around.
Yeah, that's pretty much the way it's been for me anyway. I mean, sometimes I'll write lyrics down, but I don't really hear the music when I look at lyrics most of the time. For me, it's more like I feel like this stuff comes from another place, and then I get to take it in,
Yeah, that's interesting you say that. I hear that a lot with songwriters. It's just like their muse hits them or something, and they don't really know where it comes from. It just comes to them, and they're grateful for it.
Yes, indeed.
Your voice carries a lot of grit and soul, and that's what I love about. To me, it's the kind of blues I like to listen to. I like that down and dirty, grungy, soulful type of blues. Do you approach singing more then as a vocalist, or do you approach it as a storyteller? Do you want your vocals to be the showcase, or the story itself?
I think it depends on the song, and I think most of the time I'm going for a combination of both, to be honest. But some lyrics really lend themselves more to kind of being more a storyteller type thing. On this record, I think it was more that than actually trying to, feature singing, so to speak. I mean, I just sing the way I sing, but I think this record was a lot more kind of storyteller style character voice as opposed to like vocalist.
Yeah. In today's music industry, I hear all sorts of stories from all sorts of artists, and most people feel like the industry really needs to get a little more artist friendly. And from my perspective, I'm not an artist, I'm not a musician. I play a terrible air guitar, but these labels seem to be kind of making it tougher and tougher for artists to make a living, and to do things. Do you feel that in today's industry, is it harder or easier for you guys to stay authentic in what you do?
It's easy. I mean, there's nothing else. There's no alternative for us. I mean, we don't do anything based on what could possibly sell or what could be a hit or any of that stuff. It's just, and this record, like I said, is a perfect example of that. We went in, we played, and what came up, we just said, that sounds good. And then I wrote the lyrics. I think that I see a lot of artists out there that, like, for instance, like, say, Chris Stapleton, right? I mean, that guy is great. He's a great songwriter, and he's a great performer, and he's doing, and a great singer, and he's doing very well in the business. But the business is just so changed. Everything is just so different now. And a lot of times I think artists kind of have to prove themselves before anything's even going to happen anyway. You got to have your views, your clicks, all that stuff. And then maybe, a record company might go, okay, they're generating enough numbers, so let's
take it over.
Take it over and see what we can make out of it,
Right.
So it's really hard to see where things are going. I mean, now that this AI thing is really rolling, it's like, are record labels going to even have to sign people? I mean, I heard the other day, well, just like last month, there was a song, it's kind of a country thing. I forget what it was called, Walk On or something like that. Where that particular week, it had the most streams on Spotify, any song. And it was completely AI, and there was no people involved in the playing of the music or the writing of the lyrics or the singing. But still, enough people liked it and streamed it that it was. So what does that tell you?
I wonder who made the money.
Well, whoever made the person that made the money was the one who voiced the prompts into the computer, I guess, and said, I want you to write a song in this vein about this, etc., with this kind of, instrumentation. But the thing is if record companies or even directly these streaming services are now finding out that they don't actually need the people, if they're still going to get the downloads, the streams, then why would they? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's hard. it's really boiling down to the live music. People are going to have to still keep rolling live, because you can't get AI to do that.
That's right. My concern is, it's kind of quieted down some now. You still hear deals every once in a while, but all these catalogs, all these publishing rights being bought up. Now, I realize, each artist may retain certain rights, but at the same time, some, deep pockets are buying up these catalogs and, even images and all that kind of stuff. And, if these guys are owning that, and then you turn around and you get AI involved, what's going to happen to the legacy? What's going to happen to to that business overall? What's going to happen to that sound when these deep pockets and AI kind of put it all together? That's the concern I have, and I don't even write music. I'm here to promote it, but I'm just really wondering long term what that all comes out to look like after it's had time to kind of ferment there for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not hopeful. To be honest with you, I'm just not, because it's like, if the music industry, so to speak, they're an industry, and what their bottom line is their bottom line. So they're not. I don't think there are too many people in those boardrooms thinking like, "Wow, we really need to preserve this."
Yeah.
But I hope I'm wrong, on that. But once again, as long as people, continue to play live and have fun playing music, then they won't be able to kill that, at least.
I hope not. I am seeing, COVID obviously kind of tapped down the live music industry for a while. And then, I think the first show I saw once they opened things up was Eric Clapton in Nashville. And people were just orgasmic to be able to get back out and to, see a band, any band. I think it could have been a street husker of some sort and they would have still been happy. But, but I still feel like there's a two things happening. People are enjoying getting out and hearing musicians play live, and there's still that concern of, is there another pandemic happening we don't know about, and then we have to, we get sick from this crowd, or, we get locked down again. But all in all, from my seat, I'm seeing people are loving getting out and seeing bands, and it just is. I hope people never forget that lesson learned, because COVID, it really did a number on the musicians, on the support crews, everything. And we like people. We like to get out there and interact with each other as human beings. And live shows are what help facilitate that.
Yeah, it's necessary for survival to interact with people.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm with you on that. I hope that it never happens again. And but I was in the same boat. Like, people here, I have a 13-acre farm here, and I do annual shows out right in my field. I pull a flatbed in, set the band up on there. The first one I did was during COVID. I think it was summer of 2021, not 2020, but it was like, man, people just want to hear some live music. So we went out there and played. I just told people, look, try to spread out a little bit, and you want to wear a mask over here, that's fine. And if you don't want to wear a mask, stay over there. And there was no issues, no problems. Everybody just was really, really jonesing for live music, and they loved it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like, I don't know. I hope people keep supporting it. That's my, at any level, local cover bands all the way up to up and comers and the major names, regardless. I just hope we all keep it moving, keep it going. Why, in your opinion, you're a writer of it, a creator of it, a consumer of it. Why does blues still matter today, in your opinion?
I think because everybody gets the blues, everybody, everybody gets the blues here and there, and everybody can relate to those stories. Um, so yeah, I think that's why, people can relate to it, and it's to me, it's real,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
real. When I listen to a lot of the music, like say that my kids listen to, there's the people are talented, sure, but the sound of the music to me doesn't sound real. The feel doesn't feel real, and it's not, for the most part. It's very, very crafted um, music, whereas uh, with the blues, it's just get up there and play,
Yeah.
play the music, and hopefully people can relate to the story I'm telling, and most of them do.
And blues doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, it's sometimes better when it's not. Notes don't have to be precise in blues. It helps, but it doesn't have to. And sometimes that adds to the feeling of the song, right? Just that hit and miss type of plunking or something, a Robert Johnson type thing or whatever.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't think the blues should ever be perfect. I just, and especially when you go back and listen to those old guys where they're just like, it's about what they're feeling. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you hear
Mm-hmm.
some of these guys like John Lee Hooker, that Hooker and Heat record, where they were just like basically said, "Oh, we get a chance to make a record with our hero John Lee Hooker," and you can hear in there that they're just following him. You know,
Yeah.
he's just
Yep.
saying, "Okay, the song is this, and let's go." And it's not perfect, and here and there you might hear the bass player change just a little bit late because he wasn't sure if John was going to change there or not. But that's what listening to John Lee Hooker is about. I wouldn't
Yeah.
want it to be anything other than that.
Yep. Agreed. Agreed. So what's next for you guys? What's on the agenda for the rest of the year? You going to hit the road? You going to do any
Yeah,
touring or anything?
yeah, we don't tour a real lot. We're trying to build that up a little bit, but we have some extenuating circumstances for not being able to do long tours. But to be honest with you, I'm not sure if I'm still up for that. But we do have some really good shows coming up, and we are going back to Europe. We're going to do like a 10-day run over to Europe. This will be our third run over there, third 10-day run in the summer. Building an audience there. People are liking it, and I'm trying to build us up a little short run in the U.S. as well. Haven't had a lot of success yet, but if anybody out there is listening to this or watching this and wants to hire us after hearing the music, please let me know. But it's hard to book shows, because there's a lot of bands, and I can only imagine what it must be like to be a promoter or an agent or a club owner. You can't respond to every single call you get, and so. But the goal is with this record and with the plan we've got going forward, I think that will equate to more shows. So
So I hope you can make it down this way. I'm outside of Knoxville, but and live up in the Smoky Mountains, so that I can hub out to different areas. I'll be spending more time in South Carolina in the coming months, and so I'll be bouncing back and forth between there. But where can where can people find your music and information about upcoming shows?
well, the best bet is just to go to deltagenerators.com. All the info's there, videos, and the new video for the new single "I Got You" is there,
Mm-hmm.
and the single, and they can pre-order the record.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your best bet. That's your best bet. But you can hear the single and all of our other music on streaming platforms and YouTube and the whole drill.
When is the new album coming out? It's in May. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think the targeted date is May 22nd.
Okay.
which happens to be my wedding anniversary. So double.
Well, look at you, man.
That day. But yeah,
I wonder what your wife's getting for an anniversary present, right? So,
yeah, she's getting the CD, of course.
of course. What more could she possibly want? So,
and we'll be releasing 2 more singles before then.
Okay.
One
good.
in March and one in April, with videos for each song. So, kind of a release campaign, as they say, leading up to the release.
Yeah, good deal. Well, Brian, I sure appreciate you taking the time to chat with me. I love the album. I got to hear it all. Steve Karras sent me the link on it, and when I get the interview posted, I'll coordinate with him when that should post, but probably be a little closer to the drop date of the album. But I'll have it all edited. It'll be on podcast and on the YouTube channel and on the website and all that. So, but it's a fun interview. I look forward to talking to you again. And if ever there's any project you guys are doing that you want help getting the word out, just let me know and we'll set up one of these and talk about it.
Well, definitely appreciate that. Thank you so much for having me on.
All right, Brian, take care, stay safe, and hopefully I can see you down the road sometime on one of your shows.
All right, you too, Randy.
This has been another fun-filled episode of Boomerocity with your host and producer, Randy Patterson. The theme song is Roll the Dice and is recorded and used by permission from Quinton Hope. Quinton is spelled Quinten, and Hope is Hope. And you can find out more about Quinton at quintonhope.com. Post-production is done by Cardinal Sins Productions. The Boomerocity name, logo, and content is copyright protected. Segments may only be used with written permission by Boomerocity and or its assignees. Inquiry should be directed to input@boomerocity.com. Copyright 2025.